Salut à tous, donc là je vais au Parisdot.comm, c'est un événement qui va durer 3 jours et je vais rencontrer pas mal de gens de notamment Moonbeam et Akala je pense aussi, qui sont deux grosses blockchains sur Polkadot. Donc j'ai grave hâte de commencer et je vous dis à tout de suite. Bienvenue sur Station, moi c'est Léo, et dans cette vidéo on va faire un deuxième round d'interview, et là cette fois-ci ça va être avec l'univers Polkadot. Donc la première interview ça va être avec Moonbeam, donc c'est la plus grosse blockchain sur Polkadot, c'est super intéressant, et la deuxième interview ça va être avec Parity Technologies, c'est eux qui ont fondé Polkadot. Aujourd'hui là il fait 40 degrés, donc je crois que c'est le jour le plus chaud de toute l'année 2022. I can hand it over to you when you talk, you can just like have it about like 20 to 15 centimeters from your. I'm going to hand over the microphone to Kevin. Can you just in a few words say what you're doing for Moonbeam and like your role within Moonbeam and within the Polkadot ecosystem?
I'm a developer relations engineer at Moonbeam, and I work for PureStake, which is the company that builds the Moonbeam and Moonriver protocols. So in terms of our role in the Polkadot ecosystem, Moonbeam's goal is to provide a seamless Ethereum-compatible environment for developers, and we're also very focused on providing an environment for connected contracts to unite functionality from many different blockchains.
And my first question is like, do you think Paris can be one of the biggest capital of the world in terms of blockchain? Like, do you think Paris has this potential?
Absolutely, I do. I mean, Paris is unbelievable, and the community here, last year in 2021, was my first ETHCC, and I was incredibly impressed by the community here. It was the highlight event of the year, and this year, it's early on, but this is the first day of ETHCC this year, but I suspect this year will be no different. And so what stands out to me is the strength of the community that you have here in Paris. And so, indeed, yes, I do think that Paris can be one
of the capital.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right. Thanks, Yam. I'm pretty happy to be living in Paris because there are a lot of events. So we're lucky, I think. And my second question is like, because maybe some of my viewers don't really know what Moonbeam is. So a very simple question: what is Moonbeam and what is its purpose?
So Moonbeam is a network. It's a layer 1 blockchain. And it's on Polkadot, so Polkadot being the layer 0 blockchain. So Moonbeam provides seamless Ethereum compatibility. So if you have a smart contract or a dApp that's deployed to Ethereum, you can also launch that on Moonbeam. We also benefit from the interoperability of Polkadot via XCM. So it allows you to transfer funds. It also allows you to take advantage of features that may be specific to individual parachains on Polkadot.
So now, why did you choose to develop your blockchain on Polkadot and not on another ecosystem?
Polkadot has a framework called Substrate for building your blockchain, and they take away some of the complexity of launching your own layer 1. So instead of focusing on some of like the low-level components like networking or consensus, you can instead focus on building your chain and getting apps and building a community and things like that. So Substrate's architecture really does make a fantastic place to launch a new blockchain. Now, it's not easy to launch a new blockchain. There's a lot of complexity still that comes with launching a chain with Substrate on Polkadot, including a crowd loan auction, including securing the parachain slot, and then deciding how your chain's governance is going to look like, what your token model might look like, and things like that. But Substrate provides this framework and kind of like a bit of guidance for how you would kind of like launch your chain.
Yeah, so you're a bit more guided to launch your blockchain, right, than on other things, for example. Yeah.
And another key item is that Polkadot has a model of shared security. It's a proof-of-stake-based blockchain, and Moonbeam is a proof-of-stake-based blockchain. And one of the major benefits of being on Polkadot is that the security of your chain comes from the Polkadot relay chain. Let's say you launch a brand new chain, tomorrow, and let's say it's a small chain. Then your security is not dependent on just the economic value of your chain. Instead, it's dependent upon the economic value of the staked Polkadot tokens on the relay chain.
Cosmos and Polkadot both want to create a multi-chain future. So what's the difference between the two? What's the difference between Polkadot and Cosmos?
So one of the major differences to me is the model of shared security. So Polkadot provides this model of shared security. So you could be a smaller parachain and you can tap into this model of shared security, whereas with Cosmos, you're more responsible for providing that security yourself. That being said, we envision that this is a multi-chain future, and we want to allow users to access contracts on other chains, including the Cosmos ecosystem. So expect more news to come there. So I think many of us got our start in the Ethereum ecosystem, and we've been very inspired by Ethereum, and we feel, of course, a huge part of our ties, to Ethereum. And we've also been welcomed, into the Polkadot community, and we have very strong ties to Polkadot. We're focused on interoperability and XCM, and these are core components of the Polkadot ecosystem. And so, we would say that it's a balance, between both. And when we talk more about like interoperability and cross-chain applications, we think that kind of excels within the Polkadot environment.
Okay. Two more questions. The first one is, what are the most used dApps on Moonbeam?
So the biggest dApps right now on Moonbeam would be Moonwell, which is a lending and borrowing protocol.
Kind of like avec?
Exactly. Also StellaSwap, which is the largest DEX. And StellaSwap, is not just trading, but they have a variety of innovative features. They have a stable swap feature. They're also working on a launchpad feature, which is going to be launching very soon. So I'm excited to see that type of innovation coming from StellaSwap.
So my last question is, what is the future for Moonbeam? Very classic question for a last one, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. Great question. And Leo, this has been a fantastic interview. I appreciate the chance to chat with you.
Yeah, me too.
We've talked a bit about Ethereum compatibility. We've spoken a little bit about XCM. And the future for Moonbeam is connected contracts. And connected contracts are enabled. We're collaborating with Axelar and Nomad. And they have a technology called a general message passing. And the idea is that you'll be able to access any contract on any chain. So regardless of where the specific dApp is that you'd like to interact with, whether it's on Ethereum, whether it's in the Cosmos ecosystem, whether it's on Avalanche, you would be able to call that particular contract thanks to this general message passing technology. And so we imagine, a future where Moonbeam is positioned between both the Polkadot ecosystem, enabled, via XCM. You can access functionalities on each particular parachain, but then also being able to access functionalities from ecosystems outside of Polkadot.
So maybe just to complement that question, so Moonbeam acts like a link between Ethereum and all the Polkadot ecosystem. Is there going to be like a Moonbeam for Avalanche, for example?
That's a great question. No, there's no plans for that. But Moonbeam can be a hub for this type of activity, where you can access contracts that are on Avalanche, and vice versa, where you would be able to be on Avalanche and then access contracts in Moonbeam's EVM. And this is forward, and this is like not live yet, but that's kind of a possibility.
Awesome. So it was a pleasure to ask you all those questions. I've been asking myself those questions, and it's a pleasure to have like a real human answering you, and just not like spending hours on Google, finding those answers. So I hope my community will also find this very interesting. So yeah, thanks. It was awesome to have you here.
Thank you so much, Leo. I appreciate the chance to chat with you here at Parisdot.
Awesome. So thanks. So I'm with Gautam. He works on Polkadot and for Parity. So Gautam, can you explain a little bit like what you do, what you're working on Polkadot, and what's your role and what you do in the Web3 space?
Hi Leo. Thank you for having me here. So I'm Gautam. I work with Parity Technologies, and we are working on Polkadot, building Polkadot essentially. And my role is solutions director. So I lead a team of engineers, and we help parachain builders, and we support them from a technological perspective.
Okay. Awesome. So I have a few questions maybe about Polkadot. First, could you explain for people who don't remember really well what Polkadot is, what's the difference between Polkadot and Ethereum?
So essentially, from what Polkadot is, it's a multi-chain network. It is a heterogeneously sharded multi-chain network. And the difference with Ethereum essentially is Ethereum is a single chain. It is a smart contracts platform. It allows you to deploy smart contracts for any use case that you want to build. But all of those smart contracts are treated in the same way. There is no way of optimizing it. It just everything has to follow the EVM opcodes and so on. And what Polkadot allows you to do is create use case optimized shards, which are called parachains, and then also connect those shards together so that they can exchange messages in between them, and you are not creating any data silos. So that is what the basic fundamental difference is. One network is only for smart contracts, and what Polkadot is for different kind of use case specific blockchains connected together.
Okay, and I have another question. I know that Polkadot is a multi-chain. It's building a multi-chain environment. We also compare it sometimes to Cosmos. What's your take on that? Like, what are the different? Maybe what's the vision of Polkadot, and how does it differentiate itself from Cosmos?
Yeah. So essentially, we have a very clear vision. We want to first of all scale the blockchain side of things by having different shards, and these shards should be use case optimized. So they could be have different kind of features for different kind of use cases. But at the same time, there is a question about how do we secure them together, because blockchain security is a zero sum game. People have to run nodes and every node requires infrastructure, so you can only run eventually n number of nodes and so on. So how do you make sure that all of these blockchains that are catering to different kind of use cases are secured in a collective manner? And that is where shared security on Polkadot comes into the picture, and that is one of the major differentiators as well, that we want to make sure that all of the economic power of Polkadot is securing each and every parachain in the ecosystem. And all of these parachains are only focusing on providing the best use case experience on a particular scenario, and not worrying about security and stuff. So that is what our USP is. That is what our strong point is.
Okay, maybe I have one last question. We often mention the blockchain trilemma, and we say that you can be either decentralized or scalable or secure. And sometimes it is said that multi-chain environments are very scalable, very decentralized, but can lack the security feature. What's your answer on that?
Yeah, I think this is what also something I hinted in the last answer. Security is extremely important for blockchains, and shared security in Polkadot is exactly what we are trying to solve with the security aspect of things. If all of these chains are secured in a shared manner, if they are utilizing the same kind of resources for their security, then everybody gets to benefit from that infrastructure instead of some particular chain or one chain or something like that. So while we are scaling the blockchains by sharding them, we are also optimizing them because we have heterogeneous shards, and we are also securing them all together by using shared security. So it's more like tackling the blockchain trilemma in a much more smarter manner.
Okay, so it was Gautam from Parity working on Polkadot. Thanks a lot for the interview. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Leo.